The following is a Candlepin Stars and Strikes rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. He got it. Ready for a fair.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Washington Toyota Dodge Nissan. Looks good.
Looks good. That's good to go. It's a
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. A brand new season, our 12th season of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. I'm Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. Thanks so much for being with us. We hope you had a great summer. We're tired of playing golf. We're ready to get to some bowling again.
I was tired after the first round. Yeah, 12th season, and we haven't changed a bit, have we?
Not in the least, no. But let's talk about something else, like how much we've got coming up for you in this hour in our first show of the brand new season. Of course, we begin our search for the 6 finalists that move on to the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year, which will be sponsored, of course, by Tri-State Megabucks, and everyone is very much looking forward to that event, as always, at the end of the year. But we've got a lot of ground to cover before then. At the end of this next 4 weeks, we will get our first finalists for the Tournament of Champions. But before we do that, we have to narrow the field, and we have 5 bowlers that have qualified. We're going to bring you the first 2 in our first week of the brand new season. So let's meet our first 2 bowlers of the year. First of all, our number 5 seed from Amesbury, Massachusetts, Rico Baldinelli.
Okay, relatively newcomer. He's been with us a few times, had some success. He has an average of 119, high single of 181, high triple of 459.
And Rico obviously saving it for the match. You got that half Worcester on the warm-up ball, but that usually is a good sign, so we'll see. Rico will be bowling against our number 4 seed from Somersworth, New Hampshire, a veteran here on Stars and Strikes, Pat Pay.
Yeah, one of the biggest veterans we have. Been here some almost 30 times, averaging 128, high single 194, high triple 494.
Oh, see, none of these bowlers want to show anything in that warm-up ball. See, they want to save everything for the match.
Oh, I can understand that, Pat, because he's a veteran. Rico, I'm not so sure. Maybe he's smarter than we think he is, right?
All right, well, we have that money that Dan's been holding all summer for the bonus ball contest. It's up to $60. That'll be at the end of the hour. And we've got a lot more to tell you about, too. A few surprises when we come back here to Park Place Lanes. We'll get the brand new season started when we return after these messages. Don't go away. Here are the 5 bowlers who've qualified for our first series of the brand new season here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We've already introduced you to Pat Pay and Rico Baldinelli. The winner of this match today will face Phil Clough from Western Mass next week. Bob Kelly, a familiar face, will be here as our number 2 seed. And 3 weeks from today, in our series final, Ron Simino will make his first appearance with us on Stars and Strikes as he nearly lapped the field with that 737. Well, we mentioned a few changes, and you're going to notice a different look to the show here on Stars and Strikes at our old home, Park Place Lanes, but our old home looks new.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
After a major renovation over the summer. A different look here, so if you get a chance to come down and bowl or come here to watch a taping, it looks altogether different. Some of it we can show you on camera, some of it we can't because of where we are, but Rico Baldinelli will get our match started, and you get a look at some of the new surroundings here at Park Place Lanes. It really looks terrific.
And that was a terrific looking ball by Rico Baldinelli. 9 and 10 pins left, a couple pieces of wood out front. One out front, one leaning against the 10 pin. No problem.
Rico Baldinelli from the famous Baldinelli family.
We look back 30 years from now, when we start our 12th season, who was the first bowler to get a mark? Everyone will remember Rico.
Rico from Amesbury, Mass. He is the manager, in fact, at Baldinelli's Bowlaway, which is owned by the family, and Rico has started with 2 spares.
You see the replay, 7 pin, a little stubborn, but finally goes down. 2 in a row for Rico.
Should clarify for those folks in the Amesbury area, Baldinelli's, of course, started by the Baldinelli family, now under new ownership. Pat Pay starting with a spare of his own. This is Pat's 29th appearance here on Stars and Strikes. And he gets 6 on his spare.
He leaves himself the 1, 2, 4, and 7.
Oh, yes.
It was 1, 3, 6, and 7, but what do I know? It's a long summer. Well, exact, identical scores. 2 spares for each bowler. 6 fill on both spares for each bowler, and Rico fills his second mark, and he gets a 5.
That ball slipped to the right a little bit on Rico. Looking for 3 in a row. No. Rico was last here in singles competition almost 2.5 years ago, back in the Tournament of Champions in the spring of 1993. He came in as the number 2 seed and lost the semifinal match to a red-hot Peter Flynn, who went on to win the championship that year.
Trying to convert the 6, 7, 10. Tried to snap the wood in front of the 6, 10. Didn't quite get over there to cover the 7 pin, but he'll get a 10, and he's yet to leave a pin standing at 51 through 4. Pat Pay now will fill his mark in the second box.
Pat Pay is back with us after an almost 2-year absence. Pat wasn't with us at all during last season. He was last here in January of 1994. And he lost a close match to John Potorsky.
Sliding by the head pin. Was not happy with himself there. Got a break by missing the head pin with the first ball. Dropped 8, left a 1, 2, and then pulled the ball to the left. 44.
Oh, big first ball that time. Pat Pay with the strike, getting a great mix in the middle of the lane.
How many times do you see it when you miss an easy spare of the box before? It's almost automatic. 8, 9, strike.
Oh, and Rico matches it. Oh.
Mixing action there. The 8 pin, 8 and 10, last 2 to go down. Rico's first strike.
He's in the pocket again. Oh my, that looked like the same ball. Somehow the 4 pin is still there. And Rico's going to have to be careful on this one. He carries it. No problem. The wood was frozen. It looked kind of shaky there for a minute.
Another piece behind which helped him. A spare on strike. Now Pat Pay will fill his strike. Drops 8. Chance for a spare. 3 and 6 pins left. Piece of wood right next to it. Should be any problem for Pat if he can.
Oh yeah.
A little body English. He thought he might have gone a little too far left. Neither bowler left a pin standing so far. 10s or better.
These guys must have someplace to go later.
I guess so.
Just moving right along here with all these marks.
Pat right back in the pocket. Wants that 5 pin to stay up. Unless it's going to take a few friends with it. 5, 8, and 9. Probably wants to be on the right-hand side of that wood. Watch out.
Oh, just carried his 3rd mark in a row, and Pat maintains his 10-pin lead.
Thought he might have gone too far left. Just enough to kick the 9 pin. Rico trying to make it 3 marks in a row. He'll have to do it by converting the 4 horsemen left. 1, 2, 4, and 7.
Oh, yes. Great shot. 3 marks in a row for Rico Baldinelli. And another look.
And 5 out of the first 7 boxes are marks. So you see, just tripping the 7 pin. Pull that one to the left. Got a decent break. 7. 1, 8, and 10.
Rico at 104 through 7, and that won't be good enough to have a lead. Is that ball going to come all the way back? No.
Rico's trying to coax it to come back. And we have our first pin left standing, a 9 in the 8th box. 113 though, through 8 frames for Rico Baldinelli.
Now Pat Pay working on his 3rd mark in a row. On a spare, and he will fill it with 9.
Just the 5 pin left.
For 4 in a row?
Oh,
missed everything.
You know,
Missed everything.
The triangle in lane 31, he pulled it a little far left and he wanted to play it. That time, same thing happened and didn't have room for error on that one and just gets the 10. 110 through 7, a 6 pin advantage, and he's facing a 9 box now.
This time he'll shoot at the 410 with some wood that may help.
That one in the front, I don't think he wants that to roll back, and it does. That might prevent the other piece of wood from rolling over into the 10 pin. Although now he might want to play the one to the right and have the ball take the 10 pin. That's what he's trying. A little too high.
Pat takes another 10. He still has not left a pin standing, and he's got a 7-pin lead after 8. Rico's got another spare leave. The 2, 4, and 7 with some bracing wood. Carries it.
These bowlers aren't missing many opportunities, that's for sure. 123 through 9 plus the bonus.
Somebody may have a very good score and be trailing here after this first
Wants
game.
the 10.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say he wants the 10 pin to get out of there, and not only did the 10 pin go, but also the 2 and a 4. Strike on spare.
143 with 2 balls to come.
My. Looked like almost the same type of ball, but this time didn't get the break. 2, 4, 6, 10 left.
He'll take the 8 and a 151. Question is that good enough to have the lead? Pat Pay could beat that with a couple of marks.
It's going to need a couple. Right in the pocket. Oh, I got a break there. 4 and 7 left. Piece of wood out front. A couple pieces. Naked 3 now. Wants to avoid the one with the cap facing him.
Oh, yeah. Saw what Pat did in the roll-off a moment ago. 666. Very high roll-off scores. It took 664 to qualify for the show this time. That was Rico's 5th place score.
Well, needs this if he's going to have a lead, but whatever happens, it's going to be a close match. The 9-10's got to catch the wood in front of the 10 pin plus the 9.
Oh, yeah.
Nice shot.
7 marks for each bowler right now.
Gives him
148.
48 and a ball. So anything over, you see the replay there. Anything over 4, he'll take the lead.
And there is the lead for Pat Pay. It'll be a 7 fill and a 155. Well, not a bad way to start the new season.
Wow.
155 for Pat Pay, 151 for Rico Baldinelli. That's just the first of 3. We've got more to come on Stars and Strikes, including our bonus ball contest address in a minute. Pat Pay to lead off game 2 with a 4-pin lead.
Both bowlers hoping they're going to get hot.
Yeah.
Jeez. 155, 151. Hello. These guys are supposed to be in spring training. It's like the middle of the season for these guys.
Pat slides by the head pin. We were talking about the roll-off before the break. The final roll-off for this first series of the new season held at the Bowl-Away Lanes in Rochester, and we want to give a shout-out to our friends in the Edgerly family for taking care of all the details for us.
Yeah, they actually went off without a hitch. We usually have a little trouble over there with...
I've promised them that we wouldn't go after
but
them
everybody
this
knows
time.
that Jeff runs the roll-off now, and Royal stays out of it, and we seem to be very smooth. Thank you, Jeff.
I promised, Jeff. Dan didn't promise.
Pat slides by on the 3-pin. I mentioned the owners of Baldinelli's Bowlodrome now, and it's father and son team of Mike and Tony Leo. And talk about some pretty good bowler, Tony Leo, for many years. And Rico will shoot at the 3, 6, and the 4-pin. Piece of wood next to the 4. Trying to split them, and
yeah, great shot.
Didn't need the wood at all.
You'd almost tell by Rico's reaction, Dan, when he let the ball go, he knew he had a chance.
Starts a little bit on the left side of the approach and then walks a little further left, turns the ball over, ball breaks from right to left. And sometimes you get a leave like that.
I'd love to see him make this shot.
8, 9, and 10. Snapped the wood. Oh,
Nope.
He did, but left even the 10-pin. Let's see what happens with that wood. Sidewall, yep, in front of the 10. Actually, if it hit that 10, might have kept it in play a little longer, possibly for the 8-pin.
We hope you were with us for our season premiere of Candlepin Skins yesterday here on the Winds of New England, but if not, we'll always have another chance next Saturday at 12 noon. Candlepin Skins from the Londonderry Bowling Center. If you have not seen it before, we began the skins format on a regular basis a year ago, and it's been very popular, and we think you'll enjoy it. Give it a try. It's based on the golf skins format, and the bowlers seem to enjoy it, and we think you will too. That's every Saturday at 12 noon here on the Winds of New England, and of course every Sunday at noon we're here at Park Place Lanes for singles competition.
Pat seemed like he stumbled a little bit at the line that time. Goes through the middle. Spread eagle minus the 7-pin. Clears out the right side. Still looking for his first mark in the second game, though.
Well, Pat had the 4-pin lead coming in, but as you see, Rico Baldinelli has now taken the lead away, and he's working opposite 2 open frames here, so a chance to build on the lead. And he throws the big 9 drop.
5-pin, piece of wood out front. Looks pretty favorable from this angle.
Say better than even money, I would say, in this shot. Most people would take their chances with that. That is mark number 9 for Rico Baldinelli in 13 boxes.
He looks like with every ball he knows exactly what he wants to do. Seems like he's real comfortable up there. 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, and 7 pins. And he'll take an 8.
And we will take a break. Rico Baldinelli has now piled up a 10-pin lead just at about the halfway point. We'll take a break from Park Place Lanes. We'll be back in a minute. Pat Pay ready to go. And there's what he has done here on Stars and Strikes. That's incredible. 20 and 8. That's good enough for a Cy Young most years.
Yes. Same leave he had last box, with the exception of the piece of wood behind the 2 and 4. a sudden, Pat seems to be struggling a little bit. 5 boxes now in the second game without a mark, 44.
Pat's going to have to wait to reset the pins. Cindy Sissom making her first trip down to the
First of
pin
many,
deck this year,
probably,
yes.
over the course of a season.
Cindy handling those duties again for us, as well as keeping the big scoreboard here to keep the fans here at Park Place Lanes informed. And a good round of applause for that first trip of the year. Pat now moves over to lane 31.
Well, chance of a first mark here in the second game with just the 4-pin, all kinds of wood out front.
Spare in the 6th.
54.
Mark number 8 for Pat Pay. We've been talking about the renovations, the remodeling here at Park Place Lansdowne. Two of the additions worth mentioning, and one in particular that I wanted you to comment on. One of them is the new below ground ball returns, which add a sleeker, different look to the lanes, clearing out a lot of space. And the other one is one of the real revolutionary concepts in the game, especially for kids, as Rico's upset with himself for missing that single for the spare, settles for the 10 bucks. And that's the advent of the bumpers for the kids. And of course now here at Park Place Lanes, on many of the lanes, they have retractable bumpers. So those of you who've seen those big blue cartoon-looking things that they used to drag all over the lanes, you won't see those anymore here.
Well, yeah, some of us still have those and drag them all over. Yeah, but that's
tough shot for Rico. He converts that single.
My understanding is they're not making the blue ones anymore. They've gone to this, and eventually everyone that's involved with bumper bowling will have these installed. But certainly is neat looking and a lot less work than blowing up the old blue ones and carting them out. But yeah, I have to hand it to Nick Muskelly and Carol and the entire staff. That place looks great.
Do we
Very
know?
nice.
Do we know who it was that invented the bumpers?
I believe it was the 10-pin industry that had it first.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Yep.
I know that for a fact, but I don't know who actually was the person who came up with the idea.
Pat Pay trying to battle back. Trails double figures right now. Ooh. Pat has had some ugly leaves this game. And this one, depending on where that wood finally settles, the 5, 7, and 10, if the wood stays out front, it'll give him a fighting chance.
Gives him a fighting chance on the 7-10. The 5-pin's the problem. He probably wanted that to roll out so he could see the 5-pin. Because there's another one just to the right of the 5-pin, which would help him with the 10. But let's see how he plays this. Gonna come up real high.
Oh, great effort. Oh my. Great effort there. Settles for the 9 and 2 more open frames. Here's another look.
See, he came up high. I'm not so sure I would have tried it that way, but just missed it.
Oh.
Almost a red line. Ball take 10, and then the wood take the 7. Then you got that entire piece of wood coming across, possibly for the 5-pin.
Rico Baldinelli has had a lot of 9 drops, especially lately.
It's a tough one here in the 8-pin, but the piece of wood out front is acting as a roadblock. It's going to have to come up high on the right-hand tip of the wood, turn it, and drive it straight back into the 8-pin.
Got it.
Made it look easy. 2 in a row. Increases his lead to 13 overall, 17 in this game, plus the bonus ball. Another good-looking ball.
Oh, and another 9 drop.
You can tell by his body English, he knew that ball was in the pocket.
I believe that's 4 in a row. 4 9 drops in a row. Missed the first one. He's converted the last 2. And make it 3. Well, he's more than made up for missing that first one, I guess. 3 marks in a row, all on single pins. And Rico now has a 22-pin lead and counting. Well, Pat looking for a break here. He gets it on the 7 and 10.
5 and 7 were both rocking. 7-pin finally went down, but let's see where the wood settles down. Because right now I don't think that wood covers the 5-pin. or is it resting against the 5? I
I
can't
don't
really
think so.
tell.
I don't think so.
No, and the double piece of wood, it's going to fly, one in one direction, one in the other.
No, and now it's moving again. Pat was about ready to throw, and now he's got to change his strategy.
Now, you got to come up high in the wood, and hopefully something's going to come off the wall if it's not frozen. I can't really tell from this angle.
No, too bad. Too bad. That's the kind of game it's been for Pat. He just hasn't really been able to get anything started.
It's 90 through 9 after that 155 opening game.
And another split.
You wonder what happens. I mean, he was breaking everything up early in the match in that first game, and all of a sudden the ball goes flat, gets the splits. Of course, we saw that happen last season with who was it? One of the Morgans, I believe, threw a 190 something and then came right back with a 90 something. So, and to lose the match. You never know.
Even 100, 255 for Pat Pay after 2. He's going to be trailing, and Rico Baldinelli, you should see, with 2 strikes today, but he's got 4 consecutive 9 drops. Looking for 5. Not quite. This time 8 on the spare.
He has a makeable spare. 4-7. Oh! He hit that and slid the 7-pin. It was a little heavy on the 4-pin, but it clipped the 7-pin and slid it and didn't knock it down.
Rico kind of stayed at the line to look at that a little bit. He couldn't believe it.
If they got a replay on that or not, that would be pretty interesting.
32 pins, the lead now for Rico Baldinelli. Oh,
Right
and
back
another
in
big
the pocket.
first ball, and look at that. Another 9 drop.
If you look back on this game, he's 3 in a row, but he missed a single in the 5th. Thought he should have had that mark in the 9th. And he's got one in the 10th, so it could have been 6 in a row.
136 plus a ball.
But not a bad game.
Going to be
Regardless.
Going to be up in the 290s after 2. Most likely. And he'll take 5 on the fill. 141 for Rico Baldinelli. 292 after 2 games. And a 37-pin lead over Pat Pay. 1 game to go here on Stars and Strikes. We'll be back at Park Place in a minute. You look at Rico Baldinelli, who has a 37-pin lead after 2 games here. Rico looking for just his 2nd win in singles competition here on Stars and Strikes. This is his 3rd appearance. Mentioned earlier, he's waited almost 2.5 years to come back.
Was that Rico? 2.5? So both these bowlers have been with us a few years now.
Rico has 13 marks through the first 2 games.
13 out of 20. Not a bad average. Right back in the pocket. Needs a break on the 5-pin. Doesn't get it. 4, 5, 7. I don't know if that wood will help him in front of the 4 and 7 or not.
Not enough. Well, a little opening for Pat Pay to start game 3. Well, that's about all he could have hoped for, at least a chance to cut into this lead.
I would say Pat's going to have to come pretty close to duplicating that first game if he's going to catch Rico.
Kicks out the 5, leaving the triangle. No.
Just pulled it to the left.
He picks up 1, but not what he had in mind. Pat from Somersworth, New Hampshire. He and his wife Denise have a daughter, Lisa. Pat works at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard.
Four horsemen plus the 6-pin for Pat. No.
And Pat does a lot of his bowling at the bowl-away lanes where that final roll-off was held in this series. And he's unable to take advantage of the 2 open frames matching the 19 put up by Rico Baldinelli. We're happy to welcome back our friends at Tri-State Megabucks as the presenting sponsor of Candlepin Stars and Strikes once again this year. I believe it'll be our 8th Tournament of Champions in the spring.
9 for Rico, 28 through 3. That was a fitting conclusion to the season. That's really exciting. That's something to look forward to.
No, big first ball. Again, a 9 drop for Rico.
How many of those has he had? And leaving the 4 and the 6 pins a lot of times, too.
For the spare. Mark number 14. We'll also be taking a 4-week break in the middle of the season here on Stars and Strikes for our annual mixed doubles tournament.
And again, on 31, Pat seemed to stumble at the foul line and pushed it right through the middle, spread eagle. Clears out the right side, looking at the 2, 4, and 7 on the left. Everything but the 2. Not what Pat needs, though. He needs marks.
Also back with us for our first series this season, our friends at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan on Main Street in Salem, New Hampshire. Pat looking desperately for something good to happen. Hit a long dry spell here after that big opening game. Was not able to make anything happen. He almost stood that pin back up. That's how bad things are going. You know you're having a bad day if the pins fall and then stand back up.
Yeah. It'll take a brain scientist to realize that this could be a long afternoon.
Pat had just 1 mark in the second game, and he's still looking for his first mark here in the third.
He made it look so easy that first game.
8:36 through 4. We take a break. Rico Baldinelli has added a couple of pins to his lead, and he'll be filling a spare when we return on Stars and Strikes. Don't go away. Rico Baldinelli working on a spare. Just missing the head pin. He hasn't missed it much today.
Gets a decent drop of 7, though, to 1, 9, and 10.
This could go with the wood.
Oh,
just missed the wood.
Yeah, I need to just clip a little bit of that wood, send it down toward the 10 pin. Got the 1 and the 9.
And there's the 10. Well, Rico seems almost assured of a 400 triple. He had 292 coming in to this third game. Still got a little work to do, though, to get there.
Still needs at least 1 more mark. The way he's been bowling, it's hard to visualize him going the last 5 boxes without one. 4 horsemen right. 1, 3, 6, and 10.
Just to the right of the head pin. Our number 3 seed, Phil Clough from Warren, New Hampshire, coming in next week to face the winner of this match.
Pat's got to be thinking strikes. He needs a Has he thrown a strike yet? Yes, early in the match. First game. Second, yeah, first game. He's looking for another one, and then we'll think about the double. No.
Can't bring it up to the head pin.
Break probably when the head pin went down, but not really a break with the way the head pin settled against the 2-pin. He's got a second piece now. He's going to have to be up high in the wood.
Oh, got it.
Very nice shot. Spare in the 5th.
Well, if he were to put up another one here, he'd give himself a little momentum heading into the final 4.
Strike here would cut it to 36.
Oh, he got taps on both pins.
Watch out. Watch out.
Oh, he's got it. That's got to go over. How did that stay up? I thought for sure that was going over. Pat thought so too. He had to go back and think it over.
Go out and grab his towel. Take the frustrations out on that towel.
This game tied, but Pat will have a spare to work on when he comes back up the next time.
Wants that 10-pin to go. No, it's not going to happen. The 7, 8, and 10. But a piece of wood out front as well, and gives him possibilities. Right of the red line. Got a chance. Oh, not enough to carry the 7.
And that'll be a $9. Rico still needs that mark for 400. Needs a 108. Well, here's a spare leave. The 5 and the 9.
Not only a mark for 400, but I think he's going to need another mark in this match. You got to be careful with Pat Pay.
Not here. Oh yeah, 2 opens here. If Pat were to put a strike up, and who knows, things could happen.
Yep. Couple marks, they'd have it under 20. Who knows?
Sometimes the worst thing is to bowl with that big lead. Pat on a spare, needs a big number, and gets just 5.
That's disappointing 5, but more disappointing if he can't convert this for another mark. He must continue to mark.
Came up a little bit short, but he carried it. Thought maybe he hadn't gotten quite up high enough.
Figured the 10-pin would be the problem. He finally gets a piece of wood to come over and knock the 10-pin down. 3 in a row.
Any kind of a fill here, the lead will go under 30, but the important thing is he needs another mark. He'd prefer a strike here.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm sure he's thinking strike. If I could just throw a strike here, what pressure would be put on Rico?
Brooklyn side.
7-pin drop, a makeable spare. The 3, 9, and 10. 4 pieces of wood still playable. Going to be all be for naught if he can't catch the 3-pin. Catches the 3, he's going to probably make the mark.
Let's see. Nope, went by.
Crucial mistake there.
That will cut the lead to 24, but it would have looked a lot smaller if it had been 24 with a mark up there.
Right.
Now Rico can put Pat Pay in a double strike situation without even marking himself. There's another 9 drop. Hadn't had one for a while.
And the piece of wood nestles against that 2-pin.
This should give Rico his 400 triple, and more importantly, will make it very difficult for Pat Pay here. Rico were to put up a big fill and another mark, he could close Pat out here. 6.
Keeps him 100 even in the 9th.
There's the 400. And it'll be 4:02 for Rico Baldinelli with a 110 final game. Pat Pay must throw a strike. He needs 51 pins, so this first ball has got to be a strike. And that will do it. Rico Baldinelli will have his victory, and he will come back next week to face Phil Clough. How quickly things can turn around, Dan. Both bowlers on fire in that first game. Pat Pay with a 155 had a small lead and then went open the first 5 boxes of the second game, and Rico Baldinelli's been in the lead ever since. Thought for sure he'd throw a strike in that last ball.
That's what usually happens.
Not even a spare in the last. Can't buy a break. It'll be a 9 for Pat, a 115 to finish it up, and a very respectable 370, but disappointing for Pat when you consider the start he had. Look at that 155. Rico Baldinelli wins it, and we will be back to try and give somebody $60 in the bonus ball contest in a minute. Once again, welcome back to Park Place Lanes here in Windham. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. The first match of the new season goes to Rico Baldinelli. Both bowlers got off to great starts, but Rico was the guy who was able to stay a little bit warmer toward the last 2 strings of the match.
Yeah, I'd like to challenge either one of them if they're going to bowl like they did the last game, but not where they opened up. 155, 151, I thought they were both going to be big full hundreds, but this is a challenging game, and something happens. You just take a little bit off, you change your angle, something happens, and ball just went flat for Pat, and just couldn't get it back.
And Rico bowling with a big lead, we've talked about that before. You can tend to get, not even kind of subconsciously, get a little careful and a little bit too methodical.
I think if it was a little closer, Rico's score probably would have been 420, 430, because he would have been bearing down. But you have a tendency to want to sit on it, and you got to try to block that out, because Pat could throw a triple strike and be right back in the match.
All right, let's meet both bowlers. First of all, let's bring up Pat Pay, who will take home the 5th place check of $100 for his 370. Pat, slide right in here, and boy, the thing started like a house on fire for both of you, but unfortunately you weren't able to keep it going.
No, if it was one string deal, it would be all right. But no, I don't know, just everything went at the beginning, the first string, then the rest. Out to lunch.
Was there anything that felt different, or just you weren't getting the breaks that you had?
Just me. No, just I didn't hit the headpin that many times either, so that makes you got to hit the headpin in this game.
Well, it's good to see you again after a little absence. When we have those 1-string matches, we'll call you and we'll bring you in for one of those. All right?
I hope so. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Congratulations. And now Rico Baldinelli to roll our bonus ball as we look for our first match of the new season. $60 in the jackpot. Dan's been keeping a close eye on the money all during the summer, and it will be a 6, so we'll see if we can get a match here from Mr. Murphy. Not a match for Jesse Gurney. Jesse's guess is 7. Jesse from Barrington, New Hampshire, thanks for sending your card in, and we'll be sending you a consolation gift from N&R Trophy and from WNDS and the NHCBA. So that means we will have $70 in the jackpot next week, and next week Rico Baldinelli will be back. Come on over, Rico. A 4:02 winning this match today. Congratulations. Boy, it looked like both of you guys were going to be throwing big numbers after that first game.
Yeah, it started out nice. Second one wasn't bad, but
It changed a little bit for you too, it seemed. I mean, obviously you got the marks you needed, especially in the second game, to kind of increase your lead, but it did kind of trail off a little bit at the end. It's tough sometimes to bowl with that big lead, isn't it?
yeah, it's tough. But I know Pat can come back at any time, and I wasn't letting up or anything. I was still trying. I just all of a sudden just something. I just slowed down a little bit. But
I know.
I'll take that. I ain't complaining.
I know what you were doing. You were saving some of it for next week. Phil Clough will be here next week.
right.
We'll see you then, Rico. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, that's Rico Baldinelli with the win this week. And as we spin you back over to the ladder of 5 bowlers who qualified for this roll-off series on Stars and Strikes, we'll get a look at the 5 names once again. Rico Baldinelli will face our number 3 seed Phil Clough next week, and Phil Clough comes from a long distance away to join us, and he'll be challenging the youngster Rico Baldinelli next week.
He's been with us quite a few times on the double show or the skin show, and only been with us once on the singles in a losing effort. So he's traveling a long ways. I'd like to see him put a W up, but I think Rico will have something to say about that.
Well, we hope that you'll join us next weekend. Of course, don't forget Saturday at 12 noon for Candlepin Skins, and then next Sunday back here at 12 noon at Park Place Lanes for Stars and Strikes. And it'll be Rico Baldinelli against Phil Clough. Until next weekend, for Dan Murphy and the whole WNDS crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for joining us.